I'm going to be sharing about Barack Obama. There were many different things I could have received a transmission from source on, but this one was kind of tugging at me, and I've received a lot of requests from people to channel on him. So as always, use your discernment, feel into what feels true to you. Like a lot of my readings, might come across as rather earth-shattering. Maybe it won't. Maybe you already suspected this. But I'm going to go ahead and share now, and I would love it if you guys would leave your comments and have a discussion about this and see what feels true to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This, as always, all of my messages are received from source, and that's where I conduct my intuitive readings, my healing sessions, my guidance for myself and my clients. I'm always connecting with source, creator, God. So that is the place where this is coming from. So let me go ahead and share what I have received on Barack Obama. And when I ask source this, or when I ask source about Barack Obama, I'm basically just asking, like, please share the truth about Barack Obama. What is it that you want me to share with the unity group for the highest and best good of all? Please share the truth, right? So if I would have asked any other questions, I would have gotten a different answer, but I just kind of keep it simple like that and trust that whatever comes through is what's meant to come through and what needs to come through. So here we go. He was destined to lead. It was planned that way, strategized so that he could lead the people. It was coordinated and hatched well before it became a reality to the greater masses. He was placed to control the narrative, put in neat little boxes, make them feel safe with their choices, and make them feel like they were doing a good thing. They were wise and accommodating, that they loved all and were ready for the next big thing, a deviation from their past. They were primed for it across the board. This is the interesting part. They were made to be ready for it. In other words, movies, media, news, storylines, right? By depicting greater and greater leeway, straying from the general theme that had followed their history previously. They were being programmed to believe they were making a wise, leading edge, compassionate choice. But it was all done according to plan, decades before this became a reality. Decades before this timeline came true. They were pre-programmed by television to ensure this act would take place. They were mind-numbed and controlled in a mechanistic way to vote in this manner, to make them think. They voted of their own independent mind and volition, but they've been played to make this act become true. It was pre-planted, so the outcome, in other words, voting for him, was a natural consequence of that carefully devised system, to make them think they were evolved and were making a, quote, good choice by electing him. They have been played. I kept hearing that phrase. It all went according to plan, a giant chess game with pieces moved into place long before he was, quote, voted into office to rule the country and world from his chambers. His shiny teeth and good nature belied people's fears of the worst things to come. They trusted him, put faith in him being different than the others, but he was simply packaged differently, with the men leading him from the back, giving him orders, telling him how to run things, showing him he's not in charge. They are. They kept him in his place, a shiny distraction, while they worked their wily ways behind the scenes. They were the, quote, do-gooders, in other words, the Democrats. They were brandished as the people for the people, but they really just wanted more power for themselves, for the overall structure and foundation to rule from that place. He was a bidder who won. There were other contenders, but he went out for gauging impressionistic data and converting followers because people felt he was on their side. Everyone saw him that he was different, just like them, so they voted for him. It was really a vote for themselves. Barack was meant to lead the country. It was decided, and it was done before the numbers were tallied. It was a done deal behind closed doors. It wouldn't be challenged because when people placed their votes, they were casting votes in the name of hope, a new, brighter future where differences in people were celebrated, not segregated. He was not normal. There's been several references in this video, and if you replay this, you might notice the language. I feel like sometimes source will just kind of skirt around a subject, and I have to ask directly, is this person a human clone, for example? because there were several references in this reading that suggested that, right? He was packaged differently, and it was all done according to plan. You know, all of these suggestions were suggesting to me that there was something else going on. And so I had to ask directly, like, is he a human clone? He was not normal. He was created in-house. I heard this several times, to win at this space. He was concocted. Again, I don't hear clone from source. I hear these other words, like he was created in-house, he was concocted, right? He was concocted for the sake of maintaining certain pieces in place. He was devised, and again, created in-house. He was created like the others in-house. Wasn't born in the traditional sense. So there we go. He was mastered over time and built for this place in history, a pre-devised plan to overthrow the other party. It was, quote, their turn. He was made for this specific job to carry out their wishes, their pre-devised plan. He was created, again, another suggestion of human cloning. He was created for this specific task to carry out this mission at this particular time in history. He was concocted for this. All these different terms, yet I don't hear clone from source, but that's basically what is being suggested, right? He was concocted for this, created in a lab like the others, to win at being at the forefront of the media and the main storyline, to convince the public they did a good thing by voting for him, but they were played. Again, that phrase, none of it is true. It was decided before their vote. He is a false leader. He does not lead from his heart. He is led by others in the backdrop who control the scenes and outcomes. Cut scene is what I heard, like a movie playing out, but not real by any decent measure. He is not who you think he is. He was planted long ago. They worked on earlier iterations before perfecting this version that eventually won out the others. He was tested and perfected to be assured that this was the winning breed, to satisfy its owners and give face to the public and convince them that he was real and, quote, for the people and for their betterment, for the evolution of all. But he was carefully constructed and planted, again planted, by others who had him created in a lab to win at this office and succeed others in becoming the real winner in front for all to see. There were multiple matches, and at this point, I saw multiple versions of him tested, as I heard, for trust, value, integrity, those sorts of things, those qualities, right? And so this model succeeded above the others in field tests, in their laboratory tests. He was brought in to assuage the masses, to convince them they were, quote, on track, the good one, and that they would win with him by their side.